What's up, guys? What I'll be discussing today is the assault submachine gun in Battlefield 1 called the Automatico M1918. There's three variants to this weapon: the Storm, which has offers iron sights and lower vertical and horizontal recoil; the Factory variant, which offers faster recoil reset within breaks of firing; and the Trench, which offers lower hipfire spread increase as you continue to shoot. For all variants, I'll be discussing optimum strategies when using these weapons, and I'll break down the synthic numbers to give you better understandings of the weapon. Of note, for all of the variants, they're exactly the same in terms of base statistics, but as you'd expect, they differ in terms of recoil behavior and spread, and I'll discuss those differences. You have to be anywhere between kit rank 1 and 3, and again, forgive me because I'm probably going to be saying this for all my reviews because I unlocked all the weapons quick at once and I wasn't sure which one unlocked exactly where. But you'll have to be at least kit rank 3 to get all the variants, and you'll need at least 200 war bonds apiece for each variant to unlock them. So let's get to the stats. To start, the Automatico M1918 has a 900 round per minute fire rate, which is arguably, if not the highest in the game. A low 380 meters per second bullet velocity, a 12 meters per second squared gravitational constant, which means you will suffer substantial bullet drop over longer ranges, but you won't have this problem for this weapon, I assure you. The magazine size is 25, and of note, you can only use iron sights for this weapon, and you can equip a bayonet if you wish, but bear in mind it will negatively affect the draw time as well as the recoil on the weapon. The damage chart states that it has a base damage of 23 up to 3 meters away. Then it drops down to 12 damage at 38 meters and stays that way from 38 meters on. For Battlefield 1, the damage multipliers are 1.7 times for headshots, 1 times for upper body shots, and 0.6 times for lower body, arms, and legs. So in general, that makes the Automatico a 5-shot kill weapon when only dealing body shots inside of 3 meters, and a 3-shot kill when dealing only headshots inside of 3 meters. Past that, assuming you aren't hitting headshots and you're only hitting body shots, it will take a max of 9 shots to kill. But since drop-off is continuous from 3 meters down to 38, and more than likely your engagements are going to be closer than 38 meters, it means the damage will be more than 12 per shot inside that range, even hitting body shots. So of note, it's probably not going to take you 9 shots to kill someone. It'll probably differ in that 5 to 9 range depending on where you hit and where you are, and especially if you have a headshot or in there or two. In terms of recoil, as you'd expect from the perks, the Storm variant has the least amount of overall recoil in terms of base vertical recoil at 0.308 degrees, and horizontal recoil at 0.28 degrees left and right. Note that there's no preference. It doesn't like to go one side or the other. It goes straight up. The Factory and Trench have 0.44 degrees of vertical recoil and 0.4 degrees of left and right recoil. So as you can see already, the Storm variant has a substantial damage in terms of base recoil control overall. But note that if firing in bursts, the Factory will have the best recoil decrease at a rating of 12 versus the other variants that have a rating decrease of 8. We'll now evaluate spread. Interesting to note, all three variants have the same degree of spread when aiming down sights when moving at 0.5 degrees and when aiming down the sights while stationary at 0.3 degrees. I cannot say I ever aim down sights with this weapon, so those stats for me are largely irrelevant, but they will be for you, or they will be relevant for you, I mean, if you're aiming down the sights with this weapon, but I find it next to impossible to continually stay on target. Just hit fire and go to town. The most important spread evaluation comes with fire, in my opinion, because of that point, though. The stats for spread go as follows. When hip firing, when standing or crouching and not moving, the Trench variant, to no surprise, is the absolute best at dealing with spread at 0.667 degrees of spread, compared to the Factory and Storm variant, which offer 1 degree of spread. When hip firing, when standing and moving, the Trench wins again at 1.001 degrees of spread versus 1.5 degrees for the other variants. So the Trench is by far, hands down, the best when it comes to hip firing when both moving and stationary versus the other two variants. Last point to make, spread as a whole is reduced when hip firing, moving, and crouched compared to standing, so that's something I'd be remiss to not mention. In terms of reload speed, When reloading from empty, it takes 2.8 seconds and 2.1 seconds when there's still a round left in the chamber. So what ranges and situations does this weapon excel? The damage chart gave it away very early in the video when I listed the 3 meter damage drop-off starting point essentially. The Automatico along with the shotgun is arguably the best close quarters and slightly longer close quarters weapon in the game, to no one's surprise with the 900 round per minute fire rate. It's also very well suited for spraying and praying while moving, as opposed to most other weapons in this game that want you to stay as close to stationary as possible for best success. If you play within that 3 to 20 meter and maybe slightly longer depending on the variant of weapon and your individual skill level, you'll have a serious advantage over most other players at that range. Even though your time to kill will be incredibly short within 3 meters, I do like to play a bit back, say as that 5 to 15 meter range as my go-to area, because it gives you a huge advantage over most shotgun users, which again to no one's surprise hold the absolute best advantage inside of 5 meters. I really like using the trench variant as well, because I can hold down the trigger while basically shooting from the hip the whole time. So that's my absolute favorite variant to use. But if you go beyond that 15 to 20 meters area, you will find that spread does kick in, and you can either choose to burst fire of 5 to 10 round bursts at that range, but I think the best strategy would be to just try and close ground and make sure you're within that 5 to 15 meter range for best success. Like I said, I use the trench variant all the time because I pretty much exclusively hip fire and it reduces spread the most, especially when you're moving. But I see no harm using the storm variant if you like using the sights, or if you like slightly longer range. And I mean, by slightly longer range, I mean slightly longer than 20 meters. And if you like firing in bursts. If you like firing in bursts, the factory setting might actually suit you best because of the recoil reset. So the big question, what's my rating and would I use it often? I just unlocked the Hell Regal, so that might be my top assault rifle for now. I'm not sure, but getting to level 10, the Automatico and the Model 10A shotgun split time getting me there. I would choose the trench variant exclusively. It comes in best handy when close quarters maps, especially with people throwing lots of gas. You just equip the mask and you never have to worry about aiming down sights or not. You just hip fire the whole time. And I found it the Automatico much better in open maps like, say, Foul Fortress instead of using a shotgun. In terms of issues, though, as you'd expect, you're outmatched at medium to longer range past about 20 to 25 meters. And the closer you get, the more you'll be in trouble against shotgun users. So that 10 to 20 meter range seems to be the absolute best sweet spot. You'll also be reloading a lot because of the extraordinarily high fire rate and relatively low magazine size to be paired with that fire rate. So keep in mind that if you get into encounters against maybe 2-3 people, that you might only have the bullets to take out at max 2 of them. So be careful with that. Overall, though, I would give this weapon an 8 to 8.5 out of 10 because of that. It has it's in its niche in that sort of medium-ish 10-20 meter range. I think it's one of the absolute best in the game. But to get higher than 9, I would have said to call it the absolute best in short range as well, considering the fire rate. But I've lost lots of battles to shotguns. And of course, it's not very good at long range. So I can't give a weapon a 9+ when in maps with lots of shotguns, you're going to be in trouble in short range when that should be its niche. So that's the rating. If you enjoyed the video, leave a like, leave a share, or share it around. Subscribe if you would like to see more. Thanks very much, guys.